This is Energy Frontiers for the week, proudly supported by the African Energy Chamber. I am Justina Okechukwu, and this is a warm welcome to everyone. As always, let's get started with some of the headline energy news in and around the continent. The Abu Dhabi National Oil Company has signed an agreement with Lisbon-based Gap Energy to acquire a 10% interest in the Area 4 concession of the Rovuma Basin offshore Mozambique for $650 million. This is the Emirati giant's first investment in the southern African country. Meanwhile, Tanzania's Ministry of Energy has granted a 25-year development license to the Rovuma joint venture over the Ntoya gas discovery area. The development license was received by ARA Petroleum Tanzania Limited, the operator of the Rovuma joint venture. Total Energies, alongside with the company's Block 2011 partners, Petronas and Sonangol, have announced a final investment decision for the Deepwater Kaminho oil and gas project offshore Angola to exploit the Kamea and Golfinho fields through an all-electric shared FPSO. The development is expected to produce up to 70,000 barrels of oil per day, with first oil targeted for 2028. ExxonMobil has signed a heads-of agreement with Algeria's state-owned oil and gas company Sonatrach to form a partnership to develop hydrocarbon resources in Algeria's Arnet and Goraraf basin. Egypt's Rosetta Energy Solutions, a subsidiary of Taka Arabia, have signed a heads-of terms agreement with Tanzania's Petroleum Development Corporation and the Africa 50 Infrastructure Investment Platform to develop Tanzania's first small-scale liquefied natural gas project. An Oslo-listed company, BW Energy, has made what it says is a substantial oil discovery, with an appraisal well drilled on the company's Dussafu Marine block offshore Gabon. The company says it plans to complete the well as a production well later this year. Still in energy news, Husk Power Systems has signed a memorandum of understanding with the Rural Electrification Agency of Nigeria to deploy up to 250 megawatts of decentralized renewable energy projects in the West African country. Russia's energy minister says the country has exceeded its OPEC Plus production quota for April due to technical reasons and plans to compensate for it by presenting a plan to the OPEC Secretariat to cover the small deviation from the voluntary production levels. The African Petroleum Producers Organization organized a roundtable in Accra, Ghana, on the need for APO member countries to commit to reducing gas flaring and methane emissions in order to align with the global climate agenda and for the well-being of populations. And that's the summary of your energy news headlines. When Energy Frontiers return, global leaders discuss how the world can deliver on their commitment to double up on energy efficiency. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the show. The International Energy Agency this week held its annual global conference on energy efficiency for the first time in Africa. The two-day high-level event, hosted in Nairobi, Kenya, brought together global leaders in government, business, and civil society to discuss ways to accelerate early action on energy efficiency investment and technology deployment. Here are excerpts from their conversations.
You have the oil, you have renewables, you have this and that, but energy efficiency is the first fuel. Some countries are lucky to have oil potential, some solar potential, some hydro potential, but every country has an energy efficiency potential to improve its energy efficiency and to save energy in that respect. So, in our view, Africa, as I told my African colleagues, we do not at the IEA tell the African countries, you should use this fuel, you shouldn't use that fuel. It's up to them to decide which fuel they use. But whatever fuel they use, whatever their technology choices, energy efficiency should be there. And it is also, in my view, essential to any economically, environmentally sound energy policies. And when we look at the world, unfortunately, we don't see, despite a lot of efforts, enough push happening. Our job in terms of energy efficiency is, on one hand, bring the countries together to give an international, create international momentum for energy efficiency, but at the same time, we work with the countries on the ground to learn from each other our good experiences, bad experiences from one country to another to develop the energy efficiency programs.
The National Sustainable for All Action Agenda of 2016 outlined ambitious targets for achieving universal access to modern energy services, doubling energy efficiency improvement and doubling the share of renewable energy by 2030. These targets underscore our dedication to a sustainable energy future. The enactment of the Energy Act here in Kenya of 2019 provided a robust legal framework to support energy efficiency and conservation efforts. In Kenya, the legislation empowers regulatory authorities to enforce energy performance standards. They perform renewable energy sources and incentivize sustainable practices. The energy management regulation established under this act have been instrumental in enhancing adoption of energy audits, promoting compliance, fostering best practices in energy management. By providing clear guidelines and incentives, we empower business to adopt more sustainable practices, thereby reducing operating costs and enhancing competitiveness. Energy efficiency and conservation are integral to Kenya's sustainable development agenda. By enhancing innovation, adopting best practices, and fostering collaboration, we are poised to unlock the full potential of energy efficiency and conservation benefits present and future generation alike.
For perspective, energy losses also in electricity transmission in Africa, distribution, most of our African countries is between 20 to 40%. So without really dealing with the issue of transmission, we will still have a big challenge for us when it comes to energy efficiency. Cognizant of these ambitions and also of the challenges, we do have, our energy efficiency strategy, and I wish here to thank Danish government, European Union, Swedish government, because the work that we are doing on the energy efficiency, on the African single electricity market, which is going to be operational 2040, the African master plan for energy that we are almost finalizing now has benefited largely from also the partnership with the governments and their agencies I just mentioned, but also with African Development Bank, World Bank, and other important agencies. So I thank our partners. I would like for everyone to know that we are also a continent that is starting, when it comes to our industrial programs, our agribusinesses, and we need energy, and we need it at affordable prices. Also, the households, the level of the economic level, of the households cannot necessarily afford unsubsidized energy. It's a very tricky and difficult question that is faced by all our governments without exception. How to deal with the huge subsidies that are the public budget is paying, while at the same time making sure that our population is not negatively impacted, and at the same time trying to incentivize people to or change their behavior to optimize the use of electricity where available.
We are done dreaming of an industrialized Africa. No more enduring long journeys in darkness. No more imagining life without constant power. We are done. We are done. Done tolerating 24 hours without power, load shedding, blackouts, and power cuts. Enough. Imagine a life where our abundant natural resources can't power a generation. We can't cope with that reality. 600 million Africans still lack access to power. We have the solution. It's time to turn imagination into action. African Energy Week 2024 is the platform to implement change, sign deals, and take decisive action. And implement. Join us. Invest in African energies. Energy growth through an enabling environment, and be part of the movement that brings hope to millions across the continent. It's not just about power. It's about empowering lives and giving African hope. Be there to witness the transformation. African Energy Week 2024, where imagination becomes reality. Secure your seat now. Don't miss out on African Energy Week 2024. Visit our website and buy your tickets today. Let's light up Africa and create a brighter future together.
Project. At the time you need to build that project. Sign, baby, sign.
And finally, on Energy Frontiers, the clock is ticking for the annual African Energy Week, the biggest on the calendar of the African Energy Chamber, due from November 4 to 8 at the Cape Town International Convention Center in South Africa. Join thousands of industry professionals, executives, and policymakers as they review progress reports on how countries are looking to increase investments in key energy projects and products, power up Africa, balance operational excellence, accelerate gas monetization, and drive up their energy transition strategy. To book your delegate pass, go online now at www.aecweek.com to register and be a part of the conversations that will shape the future of energy in Africa and beyond. And that's the package of Energy Frontiers for you at this time. We appreciate your making the time to watch the show as always. In the meantime, your Energy Frontiers show would be coming out of Nairobi, Kenya next week as Frontier Africa Reports harvests all the important energy conversations at the week-long 2024 annual meetings of the African Development Bank Group. I'll be reporting daily on the ground from the KICC with my team. Don't miss out on coverage through live streaming and other updates. Remember to follow the program on Frontier Africa Reports website, like all the video editions, send in your comments, and subscribe to our YouTube. Follow us across all our social media handles as indicated on the screen. I am Justina Okechukwu. Bye for now.